好，接下来呢
Illia, I'm co-founder of
Okay, here it is.
Today I want to
一龙先生的演讲。
Near ecosystem, where we are and where we're going.
不追了吧
Let's dig in. So, what is Near? Near, first and foremost, is developer platform for decentralized applications. Right? We set out to do pretty much a new way of building applications that provides you with tons of new ways to monetize, to build, to engage users, and kind of give the ownership of the data to the users. Now, underneath is layer 1 sharding blockchain, which makes sure that these applications will be running on a scalable infrastructure and will be easy to use. And ease of use has been one of the critical pieces that we focused on and designing this from day one. We believe that decentralized applications should be as easy to use as current web applications.
就是那个就是不是变暗变
And
亮，
this
它有的时候白
Near
屏的话，它
protocol
就
is
太
built
亮
not just by
暗一下。
some company, but a huge decentralized
就是
ecosystem
那
of
个，它你
projects
不是
and
前，它
communities
有的时候
or
白屏，
communities
就是
that
它
come
白
together.
屏的话，它就亮了，
These are
我就要降一下，要修
participants and contributors
然后它
working
暗的话，我
together
就光sáng
to
调大一
make
点，亮了。
this ecosystem successful. So Near has been live since October last year, a little bit over a year now, and I'm inviting everyone to check it out. So, with our focus on developer experience, we've kind of set out to do a most versatile ecosystem, right? We want to make sure that every single developer, whichever approach they want to use, are able to find a place and connect to the ecosystem. And so we have everything from Aurora, which is a support for EVM contracts on Near blockchain. It provides a way to pretty much take existing EVM contracts and EVM contracts from Ethereum and launch them on Aurora pretty much without changing in the single line of code. We also have a way to support substrate app chains, which allows you to connect any kind of extra modules that might be perfectly fit for on-chain application through this and have a fully interoperable communication with other applications on the blockchain. And obviously our main native runtime has been originally designed for developers who are coming new to the blockchain and know languages like TypeScript or newer but fast-growing language like Rust. It provides you a fully asynchronous and scalable place where you can build anything with any complexity of the application. All this is for developers, but main focus, as I said, is ease of use. Right? We wanted to make sure the developer can build applications that are ready for mass adoption, right? And that Near right now is the only network that is ready for this because of kind of ability to onboard non-technical users, people who don't know what cryptography is, private keys are, addresses, etc., to start using applications and providing really fast interactions, right? Near blocks for 1 second, finality is pretty much almost instant. And kind of simplify the flows, provides you a feel like you're using a Web2 applications while still having all those properties that we want from the blockchain. So all this pretty much sets a background for this massive usage. And so with massive usage, you need to have scale, right? You need to be able to power this on the infrastructure level. And so Near, from day one as well, has been designed to be sharded. And so we are actually resharding our mainnet on November 15th, adding pretty much 4x capacity, right? Kind of allowing for network to be like processing 4 times more transactions. And in general, right, this is a multi-step process of us pretty much rolling out our vision of dynamic scalability, right? We are switching right now to the sharded state, with 4 shards. In January, we're gonna add pretty much a lot more validators. We will start processing kind of in parallel as well. There will be kind of final step of fully sharded processing in third quarter of 2022. And then we have a final kind of scalability support through dynamic resharding at the end of next year. And dynamic resharding really is this idea that as network grows, as users grows, as we get ideally to billions of users, we will kind of dynamically change number of shards in the network to fit that capacity, which will maintain kind of low fees, low cost for everyone, even there will be a lot more applications and users on the network. And so that is kind of this ultimate, mass adoption infrastructure that is already here. And on top of this, not all data, not all processing belongs on public blockchain. And so kind of soon we're going to be releasing support for private shards. And so private shards is this idea that you can actually run a shard of your network inside company's firewall, inside your enterprise, and all the private data and computation will be living there. It's not going to be kind of spilling over into public blockchain. You don't need a consortium to set this up. You can just start it yourself and start using it. You can launch applications there. And these applications, pretty much through the connectivity with the public chain, can now interact between public chain applications as well as with other private shard deployments. And so this allows you to start building use cases like tracking medical data across many hospitals and knowing exactly where the data went. Or, for example, proving without revealing the data if somebody had some disease or not. Similarly, universities can pretty much prove that somebody had a GPA above some threshold without revealing all the works of the student. And so this gives you kind of the next wave of use cases, how to connect all this private data that lives right now in companies together between all of these companies and start establishing protocols and applications that will be powerful going forward. So, kind of when we set out to build Near, we had this vision of how we're going to start replacing many of the existing applications that we're all using now to really enable the kind of this huge ecosystem of self-sovereign decentralized applications, right? And so I'm talking about social networks, I'm talking instant messengers, even things like ride-hailing like Didi or food delivery like Meituan. So to achieve that, right, there needs to be a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built. And blockchain is kind of in the beginning like a small red block there, but there's a lot of things that are happening, and so this is kind of a big picture view of this product ecosystem that we're building kind of as Near ecosystem. And where are we now? Well, we already have a ton of applications in the ecosystem that are pretty much powering some of these components. We have things for financial applications that people are interacting with, NFT and gaming. It's been exciting. There's kind of DAOs for kind of governance and community organization, and a ton of communities that are actually using it, and obviously a lot of tooling infrastructure to power all this. So one of the really cool example that I want to highlight is there was a sale of NFTs at Tampa Maker Festival, and allowing people who never kind of had any treasure with crypto before to directly through Tampa get a new wallet and buy an NFT and participate in this economy. And so this is really cool because it showcases kind of all this pieces coming together and showcasing ease of use for and kind of pushing the ease of use. Near also is coming to Opera browser, pretty much allowing all the Opera browser users to have near wallet and interact with near applications seamlessly without needing to install or set up everything. So stay tuned for that. Now, I want to highlight a couple applications that are already running on Near. And so one of them is Near Crowd, that I'm really excited about because it's one of those ideas that we were thinking about before we started working on Near protocol. And it is the idea of crowdsourcing, of collecting data through on-chain communities. And if you're familiar, this is similar to Amazon Mechanical Turk. So Amazon Mechanical Turk is pretty much a platform where you can kind of ask people to do some tasks, and they will kind of do those tasks for microtransactions, right? But this is impossible to do using platforms like Ethereum because, like, even the smallest fee right now there is like $10, $20, and the tasks usually are way smaller and cheaper than that. And so, since the launch in April, the Near Crowd platform had 2,000 or 3,000 people now, with 1,500 daily actives, so people are really working there every day and already collected over 1 million data samples that's been kind of for different problems that they're doing. But more importantly, this has enabled people to pretty much survive during COVID or really transition from this mentality of having a kind of job they hate to the idea that they can be kind of working for one of these platforms, one of these communities and ecosystems, and kind of making good money and participating in the economy. So the other application I'm going to highlight is Sputnik DAO. So Sputnik DAO is infrastructure for DAOs, and I really don't like the DAO name because it's a little bit misleading, and I like the digital cooperative, right? The idea that you can have many people coming together, co-owning this organization digitally and have ability to do things like manage applications, right? Manage protocols, invest together, and also coordinate contributions and pay for them, right? So you can say as a group that you want some work done, you can assign a bounty, some amount of money to it, and then pay it out for people who've done the job. And so this is how I see the social is going to be happening in Web3, right? We're going to be transitioning from things like Facebook groups or WeChat groups to groups which are kind of working together, that have some funds, and are able to pretty much get some work done or get paid as well from other groups. And this is allowing us to start building new types of relationships that we couldn't build before. So this has already been used by communities and near guilds to coordinate work, to invest, to make decisions around what projects to build. And so check it out at astrodao.com or sputnik.fund, which are different interfaces to interact with it. So what's next, right? I kind of showed you where we're going. There's a huge graph of the like long-term vision, but what is kind of the things that people can be working on right now? So right now, kind of the next wave of things that are missing is a set of common protocols for open web applications. And so these are the things that will be powering kind of day-to-day applications like instant messengers and social networks that are missing right now to actually start creating this kind of huge network effects that we want for mass adoption. So an example would be having a social graph protocol, a protocol that would allow people to kind of own the data about who their friends are and kind of relationships between people at work and friends, and be able to go between different applications with this data and pretty much have all of this integrated into those applications. Right? Imagine having kind of WeChat and Facebook and LinkedIn, for example, and you can go between them and don't need to redo all your social graph, re-add all your friends, because actually all this data belongs to you. Similarly, communication, which allows people to start building instant messengers and kind of different forms of communication protocols that will link people together, right? Leveraging social graph, leveraging kind of the same ideas. Similarly, there's a lot of protocols needed for media, because media will pretty much unlock this idea of creators being connected directly to their fans, to their fan base. And right now, as a creator, you're using distributors, you're using platforms, which are pretty much creating a wall and not letting you as a creator to own your own platform, own your own business as you distribute your content. And so music and video protocols would allow, for example, for a kind of famous musician to directly interact with the fans of this music, with the super fans who are kind of early on, who were there early on and want to interact with it. Similarly, kind of decentralizing and making it kind of more robust certification reputation, right? Right now, certification is just a piece of paper that people put to the wall sometimes, or a screenshot of it, but actually have a certificate from the university on-chain issued, having this digitally signed, having maybe proofs from the private shard information about the kind of average score or some other information that others can rely on. Similarly, if we're talking about kind of digital entities or even smart contracts themselves, having the certificates from the audits that are actually themselves available on the network. One of the core pieces that I think is really important is conflict resolution. And so conflict resolution is this idea that in the real world we cannot code everything out, right? Even though we have an ability now to program a lot of the interactions, there will be still situations where things are could not be resolved with code or with economics, and so we really need a way to pretty much have a court which resolves cases like that. And so that in itself will enable things like gig protocols, ability for kind of multiple people to start doing work in the real world through the protocol. In case of something not working, you can rely on conflict resolution. So all these protocols, right, and there's a lot more, they themselves will create their kind of a huge space of value that will be created because there will accrue this kind of billions of users that will be coming to this that, and they will be powering all this application on top, right? So now kind of a new app for a social network can just rely on social graph, rely on communication, rely on some media and protocols, and then put together just a new experience that users can use. So just to finish up, this space is continuously evolving. You know, a couple of years ago we were just building, kind of figuring out consensuses, and now we're talking about common protocols powering social networks for billions of people. So it's important to keep learning. It's important to keep educating yourself. And so just kind of to give you a few places, one of them is Near's blog, where we're trying to both publish about kind of Near's technology, but as well as write overviews about other technologies that are available in the ecosystem, in the broader ecosystem. And on the other side, there's a Near University. Near University is really a place where we're trying to build actual programs for people to learn how to become developers. We're going to be launching how to kind of more advanced users as well for non-technical people. There's a certified instructor even if you want to be a teacher yourself. So really starting to build out the educational platform and programs that people can use to kind of learn this ecosystem. And kind of as a final piece, there's a lot of kind of opportunity in this ecosystem, right, the open web in general, and I'm inviting pretty much all the entrepreneurs and developers here to participate, right? I'm inviting you to join the ranks, to find a protocol or a platform application or even community and ecosystem that you're interested in contributing and start pushing it. And we have a number of kind of places where you can get funds, everything from grants to community and startup funds to things like Metaverse Ventures and Accelerator Collective to a number of venture deposit in the rest of the project. So thank you, 谢谢, and 再见.